All right. Good evening, and welcome to Wind Down Wednesday. It has been a whole month since we've seen each other here. And today, as always, I have someone very, very special to bring on here and share information about her business. Before we get started, we all know the drill, right? What do we do on Wind Down Wednesdays? Well, first of all, we got the wine. Second of all, we got time and we have fun. So, warm welcome to everybody that is tuned in. And so, what is Wealth, Wicks, and Wine all about? It is about candlelit conversations about building wealth, business, and other financial topics. This platform is for women. We do not discourage men to join us at all. However, when we host our podcast sessions and wine tasting events, it is all about us, the ladies. So what our goal is to relax and share triumphs, victories, stories, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. We have a great time. And mainly our focus is always on growth and development. So that's super important for us. Today, I have wine to share with you all. So I did it a little different this time. So Tomira and I have two different wine brands. All right. Mine is the La Pêche, which you all heard about last week. And Tomira has Dona Estefania, which is a Malbec, right? And I'll start sharing information about Tomira's wine. So, what about this wine? First of all, it is a Spanish title, right? And so the name is kind of like Estefania. Get it? Stephanie? All right, whatever. And it's a Malbec, which is pronounced, Malbek. I know us Black folks, we got to get the pronunciation, the correct spelling. I have to listen to, all right, how is this wine pronounced, right? So that I'm not out here sounding a hot mess. The kind of wine that a Malbec is a dry red wine from France. Okay. And so before I started Wealth, Wicks, and Wine, before I became a wine guide with various companies, one of my issues was I only cared about or wanted to sample sweet wine. Well, that changed over time, right? You grow up, you learn some things. And I learned that wine could be excellent, and it's always dependent on what you pair it with, right? And so this wine, the flavor profile is rich and dark. And Tamira's gonna share her glass with you when she comes on here. And the flavors are black cherry, plum, and blackberry. Okay. And then there's a cocoa and sometimes a tobacco or leather, depending on who's sampling, right? And then the body of it is medium to full, and the tannins are moderate to high. So remember, if you've ever done a wine tasting with me, tannins, if you tilt the glass like this, tannins, you can see them running, right? And it kind of lets you know the story of that wine. And then the acidity is medium. It is best served with grilled meats, hard cheeses, and earthy dishes. Now, I cannot get on here and fib and tell you all that I have sampled the wine Tomira has yet, because there are so many of them I can't get to them all. But I'll ask Tomira when she comes on her thoughts on it. Grilled steak, barbecue beef ribs, roast lamb, pork tenderloin. And then the cheese board favorites are aged cheddar, blue cheese. And then there's some people who pair it with mushrooms. So we shall see, right? The wine that I have, again, you heard about it last time we were on, but it's La Pêche. It's a very, very awesome sweet wine. You can tell by my bottle here how awesome it was. And I'm sorry I did get started a little early. However, La Pêche tastes very peachy. It's awesome. It's a sparkling from France. So we are sampling from Francais today. Really good wine. Very rich in flavor. And it's a gentle peach aroma and mild, refreshing taste. It's very good. And it pairs well with desserts. Okay. And I have La Pêche very often. So that's the wine selection for today, or selections. Today's candle is all about quiescence. So this is our brand here. We make it. This is a cocoa and soy wax candle. Remember, all of our candles can be utilized as an oil. And when they harden, they just go back to, the regular candle wax or whatever. And it smells really good. It puts you in the mind of a spa day. When you ever go to the spa, that nice, fresh scent that you get when you go to the spa, that's what that candle smells like. Well, that's what I made it to smell like anyway. And so, yeah, that is the candle. And then, so next, right, introducing Tomira. I do not want to prolong this any further. So Tomira White, I have known Tomira now, let's see here. It was before COVID, so about 5 to 6 years by now. I want to say it was like 2018 going into 19. And the city of Milwaukee and other organizations had something that we were calling Pop-Up Milwaukee. And what they were doing is they were promoting small business, right? They wanted us out of the basement, out of our home base offices and into storefronts. Okay. And so I met Tomira because we were at a WIBIC event and being selected as potential retailers in these spaces. And she was friendly from the start, amazing. And I'm an energy person, right? I'm not rude. So if energy doesn't match, that's okay, right? You just go another direction. But I was gravitated to Tomira. And then there's another person that made sure that we were connected to her, because my husband ran into a flyer or something and he made sure he came home and told me, like, hey, babe, you need to know this lady. And I was like, I just met her. So in my opinion, it was meant to be. It was meant for me to know her. And I want to say that she has become an amazing friend, right? I enjoyed every single time I talked to her. Tomira is one that when I got married, she was there as my caterer. When I have these wealth, wicks, and wine events, I always select her because delivery is amazing. She's never late. She does everything the right way when it comes to catering. And she has a team that is the same way. If you book her, you will know. All right, so Tomira White, right? She is an amazing powerhouse in the culinary world, blending expertise and passion to elevate every dish she creates. I'm a witness. She is the visionary owner and chef of Delicious Bites, where for over 5 years, she has infused her signature flair into every culinary experience. And she's educated and degreed. So with a bachelor's and master's degree in psychology, Tomira uniquely fuses the art and science of cooking. Her journey through numerous business incubator programs helped scale Delicious Bites into a thriving food business, drawing inspiration from her entrepreneurial grandmother. Tomira said, listen, I'm not new to this. I'm true to this, right? That's y'all. That's the rookies. I know what I'm doing. So she comes from greatness, right? Her grandmama owned 4 restaurants in the city of Milwaukee, 4, not 1, but 4. So she inherited a fierce creativity and a deep love for food. In her kitchen, she brings fresh twists to timeless classics, using top-tier ingredients that reflect her commitment to quality and craft. And yes, you have to have one of her signature salads. I went and made a personal stop to get me one today. Okay. And then outside of the kitchen, Tomira finds joy in being a mom. So she's a mother of an amazing team. Fashion, she loves fashion. And oh, by the way, not only can she cook, but she designs clothing, right? She makes jewelry. I bought these earrings when I first met her. Let me tell you about raggedy, rotten retail people, right? They'll lie and tell you that they made something and you can take a picture of it and find it on Temu and Shein and all the rest of them little outfits. No, not Tomira. When Tomira says she made it, she made it. And a couple times, right, delivering her documents or whatever we needed to do together, I would go down there and she had her tools and everything, multitasking always. And you could see her making stuff, right? So I know she made these because they haven't fallen apart like the rest of the little cheap stuff that people like, whatever. Okay, so anyway, with that being said, right, she is creative and unforgettable, right? And just amazing. So without further ado, I'm gonna bring her on here. Tomira, how are you?
I am great. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Thank you so much for taking the time out because I know you're busy. I know you have a million things to do. So thank you for dedicating this hour to Wealth, Wicks, and Wine podcast.
Of course.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So the hustle and the journey, right? We talked about balance. We talked about all of the things that you do, right? So how in the world did you decide, listen, I'm going to take what was a hobby or something that you was good at and knew how to do and turn it into a full-fledged business. What made you make that decision?
I feel like when I first started selling food, my back was kind of against the wall. So it was kind of like I knew that people would eat. So I created something that they would eat and I sold food. Um, I feel like the first time I sold food was when I graduated from college. I wanted to buy a car from one of my grandmother's friends and it was like 2,500. But at this time I wasn't even working. I was just shampooing heads at the salon.
Okay.
So on Fridays, I would sell food. I would make about $600 or $700. My mother would get off work and she would lay across the bed and she'd call everybody in her phone book and be like, Tomira selling corned beef dinners today. Come get one. Da da da. Like just running, calling people, calling people. Um, and people would come over and buy it. And I would sell out every week. It took me about a month to get that car from Miss Mary. Um,
But you
so
got
I
it.
knew that people would always buy food, and that was way before I even had a child.
Okay.
That I kind of dibbled in that way.
All right. All right. All right. And cheers, by the way. Cheers
Oh,
to you. And I love the glass. Let hold that glass up so that the world can see it. That is delicious bites, right? Look at that. That is beautiful. That's amazing. I love that, Tamira. Love it. So how is the wine? What do you think? And look, I'm a little intimidated because I know
so
you're a chef and I know you know food
I
pairing.
wish I had known to make me something fancy to go with it after you started reading all the great things I should have. I'm like, man, you should have made dinner. So I guess I need to save some for dinner. But I was nervous because it's red, and I don't know why reds make me nervous. But it's not dry. It's not dry.
Okay.
It's not tart. It's nice. It's nice and smooth.
Okay. That's what I
It's
wanted to.
definitely not what I was expecting. I was really nervous. I was like, and then you talking about yours is sweet, and I'm like, why she give me this grown lady wine and she take the sweet one? Um, but this wasn't. This is a good substitute. I'll take that.
Awesome, awesome. So it says on my guide here that the wine is a dry, but you're saying that it doesn't taste bitter. It has it's a smooth, dry
No,
wine.
I've definitely had much drier wine. This is definitely not dry. I don't
Awesome.
think so, at least.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for that feedback. And ladies and gentlemen, those of you out there watching. So listen, if you would like to purchase wine, you can do so at www.wealthwicksandwine.com. And there you will find everything that I have to offer. Now back to the amazing Tamira. So, all right. Now we mentioned psychology in the bio. And wow. So, your background in psychology, how does that help or influence entrepreneurship for you?
It helps kind of understand people just a little bit more.
Okay.
Um, People are who they are. So I just learned that people are who they are, and you learn to deal with them for who they are.
Okay. Okay. That is the listen. I warned everybody to my what you see. is exactly what you get, and she's not sugarcoating anything ever. So she said what she said. People are who they are. And you know what? Years ago, when I was studying sales and learning to be a sales manager for a company, this was in my past life. One of the classes that I took, or training programs, because I was a manager, was psychology of selling.
Mm-hmm.
And so I learned so much. To your point, Tomira, people are who they are. So when we're approaching people in business, different personalities walking through your door, that tells me that you pretty much know, all right, take my time and explain what I have to this person. Okay, let's hurry up and get that person out of here. So it
You
helps
can
you.
tell it's really interesting too, because so many people are on the phone, but yet they'll say that they weren't greeted, but you're on the phone, so no
Mm.
one can greet you. So just knowing when to kind of back off people and let them be, or when to engage. Like some people are really looking to talk, so you can kind of tell when they want to talk, and you can give them a little more time and let them get it off their chest.
And you are right there on the corner of 68th and North.
66.
66th and North. What's your address there so that the people know where to get you?
6538 West North Avenue.
6538 West North Avenue. Right there. You cannot miss her. And perfect spot. So in the perfect community, summertime spot, I can see people walking. I have to go get my treats. And by the way, I have a couple of mine. This one is strawberry crunch cheesecake, right? And I whipped this one out, but I'm pairing today. So my wine is La Pêche, and I got peach cobbler cheesecake jar here. So I am going to nicely indulge in a few minutes here and pair this wine with this nice dessert. But look at the packaging here. When I tell you she does business in excellence, everything she does, even the catering, you will know who the professional caterer was. Her logo and brand is everywhere, and the food is amazing and delicious. So we
Thank you.
appreciate you, Tomira.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So now, next question for you I have is, what was the biggest challenge you faced while building Delicious Bites?
Hmm. I don't know. Some would say getting the space open.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it was during COVID, so everything was kind of delayed. Um, so I don't know. I guess maybe getting open because it took. I think we were. It was almost 2 years. It was 17 months, maybe. But it was like I would go and order a cooler, and it would take 16 weeks. But because I didn't have like a huge loan or anything, it was like, okay, we'll go get that one. And when you get some more money, go and get another one. That one might take 15 weeks.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
my contractor was really great. So I didn't have that issue. I had heard so many have such horror stories with contractors running off, incomplete jobs, but I did not have any of those issues at all. So just I guess, getting in there and getting open
Mm-hmm.
was probably the bigger, yeah.
Challenge, and that was amazing. And you did all of that during COVID.
Yeah.
Were you anxious? Did you have that feeling of anxiety?
No, I wasn't anxious. I just felt like it would open when it was time for it to open. Everybody else was anxious. They're like, when are you going to open? The sign's been up a while. Aren't you ready? Like, you need to. Aren't you this? And I'm like, it will when it will be. Like, I had dates and dates, and I'm like, nobody likes to have the date and then have to be like, oh, not this day. So I'm like, it'll happen when it's supposed to happen.
Right at the right time. Truth, truth, and truth. And obstacles, right? So you mentioned delays and due to COVID. How did you, as an entrepreneur, because Tamira, we go through ups and downs like no one's business. And though you didn't have anxiety, you were like, you know what? When the time comes, it'll get here and we'll be ready, right? But when you have delays, for other entrepreneurs, can you give them advice on how to overcome some of the obstacles and challenges they may face, especially when they're anticipating a grand opening?
I would say that if you have not done all of the foundational things you need to do, utilize that time, because once you are open, it's that much harder to get the things done that we don't necessarily like to get done in the business and on the business.
Mhm.
Creating all those policies and procedures and books and hand, like all of those things, like that is the time. It seems like you want to hurry up and get in there, but having all those things done in that time that you think is downtime, because it's really not. It's always work to be done. Um, Getting those things
Always.
done. So just using that time to your advantage, because once you tie to that location, you kind of tie to that location until
Mhm.
further notice.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Facts. Facts. Now, foundational things, and I'm glad you mentioned that. I am so glad to hear that. Why? Because we're anxious. We want to get right into it, right? Especially opening a retail spot or a restaurant. I am a business consultant, among other hats that I wear. And a lot of times I have to like wait, kind of pull them back a little bit. Like, you don't know the difference between who the Wisconsin Department of Revenue is and IRS. I'm gonna need you to slow your roll, right? What would you say to the chef that's inspired by your story and possibly others, right? Anxious to start that business. I heard you say get the foundational things done. But you know how it is when we're good at one thing. We're good at being a cook, a chef, a baker. But when it comes to running a business, what advice would you give a person?
Um, uh, Repeat your question again.
And so a lot of times we have, like, for example, I want to open a restaurant soon. I may be great at cooking, which is not my story at all. Right? Not at all.
Oh,
Uh,
I would say that potentially shadowing somebody.
okay.
I've also found all of my business classes, certifications. I just find them as different networks of people and different clusters of support systems throughout the city,
Mhm.
to support. But shadow somebody. I'm always a big advocate of shadowing. Like, go and see what it's like. Like, um, everybody will tell you when you do something good, you should start a business. But it is easy to start a business. Like, you can go out there and do it. But are you gonna want to maintain that business? Because it's hard.
It is hard.
It's
It is.
hard.
Yes, it is. Yes, ma'am. All right. Thank you for answering those questions. Now, how do you decide when and where to reinvest business profits?
I have a list of things, so I kind of go based on need,
Okay.
or based on that like wish list. There's some things that I want to get done, and then I kind of, there's always things that are going to be needing to be done. So I kind of sometimes have to make a little wiggle room, a little need, a little want.
Go through, you have a checklist, I'm hearing.
Yeah,
Okay, so we have a little net, we got some
in
net
case somebody
capital
offer me
here,
some money,
net
I know what I.
income, so we have extra funds. What can I?
Well, just in case somebody asks me, what do I need? I can say exactly what I need. I don't want them to have to wait if they offering up some cash. I want to be ready. How do you want that list? In
Right.
email? You want me to airdrop it to you? How you need it?
Exactly. Exactly. And the fact that you have an just that level of organization here, I know exactly what I need, right? You want to be an angel investor? Oh, okay, no problem. Here you go. This is what I need. Understandable. Do you see Delicious Bites expanding? Are you expanding territory, enlarging territory? Do you see a franchise model in the future? Anything like that?
We definitely do some wholesaling. I've considered franchise. I don't know. I don't know. I'm still on the fence about that.
Okay, that's
But
fair.
it's been offered. So
Really.
those are steps that need to. It's a lot of steps to be taken to get there. So it's
Having a
on
good
the list.
attorney
Hmm.
with contracts, and that's because at the end of the day, Delicious Bites all your idea, your brand, your intellectual property, making sure that's protected first. So you're right. There's a lot of moving parts that comes along with franchising. Contracts.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I understand. All right. All right. A financial lesson that helped you grow as a multi-talented entrepreneur.
Hiring a better accountant.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
Yes. Elaborate, because that, that's my
I
finance and
I
accounting. That was a
feel like having somebody that takes a little time to make sure that you know what they're doing, not just doing it. So educating you on the process and what's happening and what's going on, not just kind of giving you paperwork like, hey, sign this, I did XYZ. But just educating you and making sure you have the tools so that if they're not available, you still kind of have those tools to use.
yes, ma'am. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right. Any other financial lessons that you would like to share?
Ooh, pay your taxes.
Oh, say it
They
again.
pay your taxes. They kind of ruthless. They don't care about nothing. Even if it's a mistake, they don't even care. Just pay your taxes.
And they are
So when
ruthless.
people try to rush you out the house, remember as soon as you get out the that's what you have to look forward to while they trying to rush you out the house.
Yes,
Um, yeah, you have that to look forward
especially
to.
sales taxes.
Um,
So, for those of you watching and listening, and you're inspired by Tomira's story, right? Please know that when you sell food, food is a tangible item, right? I went today and I picked this up from her store, her bakery, and I walked away with it. That means she has to charge me a sales tax. Tamira's great at taking care of her business, right? But there are some business owners who will literally spend the money. We are not supposed to be spending the money for sales taxes or payroll liabilities. That is not our money. That money doesn't belong to us, right? That's money that we collect. It's a trust fund. You send that money right to Wisconsin Department of Revenue. Do not spend their money because you will pay for it in the end, right?
definitely.
And it adds up very quickly. And there's no way around, IRS and department, whatever state that you do business in, there's no way around, getting past sales taxes or payroll taxes for that matter. All right. So thank you for that wisdom, Tamira. All right. For women that's over 40 years old, starting a new business or a new hustle, right? What advice would you give to help them stay encouraged at this point?
Hmm. Always try to find something in it that you enjoy. Um, keep learning, keep sharpening that skill. Start slow.
Mhm.
Don't like go 0 to 100, like go buying a whole bunch of stuff. Just like kind of save some of the money and just have it if you need to go ham, but just trickle slow instead of having a bunch of stuff that you're stuck with. If you think like in terms of like inventory wise in business,
Mhm.
um, think about where you're gonna keep all of that stuff. Um, how you gonna get it where it needs to go, or where you gonna store it in your house if you cook at home like I cook. So I always had to have a space to create in because anything I make would smell like food because I cook.
Yep.
So
Yep.
being able to separate those things, but learning about whatever it is you want to do, just keep learning about it. Learning from other people, collaborating with good people.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
So when I first met you, I remember a different brand, and then I remember Delicious Bites. So there was
Hmm.
a point in time where you were literally running two great, outstanding businesses. How in the world did you find the time to do that?
When I had both of them kind of full time, I was catering with Delicious Bites. So that
Okay.
wasn't something I had to do every day or multi. It was when somebody needed catering. So it might be once a week, twice a week. Um, Now I'm in the store 4 days a week, but the other days are preparing for the store or catering. So it's a big difference in time.
Mm-hmm.
So now I don't have as much time for distinctive designs. But recently I bought like some new leather. So I've been creating like sneakingly over here. So one of these days it's gonna be a whole bunch of stuff that's gonna get dropped because I just been over here. Every time I get a little chance, I make a couple earrings or something.
Why and why not? Because you listen, over 5 years I've had these. Not one problem. Nothing has broken off. Nothing is. This is quality. I got my money's worth. So yes, ma'am. Like even if you take private orders, I don't know, but yeah, man, you got too much talent, man, and not to not use it. So
Yeah.
yes. All right. So what's one daily or weekly habit that keeps you focused on growing your wealth and brand?
I work out.
Working
I really like working out.
out. Okay. Okay. Working
Um,
out, lifting.
I work out early. I typically don't. I prefer to go early because it's that discipline piece too. But also, it's way less distractions in the morning.
Okay. All
Um,
right. Working out. How
Better
early?
energy in the morning. Yeah,
How early do you have to rise and shine, Tomira?
um, I typically get up at like 3:30. So I can be at the gym by 4:30.
Whew, okay.
I would like to be there at 4 though. I'm working on getting there at 4, but 4:30 right now.
Wow. I admire that. That now that takes discipline. At about 2 a.m., I am just shutting my computer down to go to bed because
When
I'm worked
when we
from
get off the
9
phone,
a.m. to 2 a.m.
when we get off of here, I'm gonna turn the TV on, and the TV gonna watch me, and I'm gonna go to sleep. That's
My goodness.
yeah. It's gonna be on for a good 10 minutes, and I'm gonna be ready.
Okay.
And I'm drinking this little cup of what's this called?
This is
Donna,
Dona Estefan.
Donna Stephanie,
Yes.
don't Stephanie. What's Donna? What does Donna mean?
You know, that's a great question. I don't know. I'm going to find that out. But it's Dona Estefania. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So working out, anything else? What do you like to do outside of work in your spare time?
Um, in an ideal world,
Mm-hmm.
I would travel monthly somewhere. So I definitely enjoy traveling, and I like being with my family and eating. I really like to eat too. That's why I have to work out because I like to eat. Um, so I like to eat and hang out with my family and create and travel.
Do you have a personal trainer or you know what you're doing? You go in, get to it, and come out of the gym.
I, as soon as my finances allow me to have a trainer again, I will. I have had a trainer, so I understand that having a trainer is a luxury. Like it's not a something that I think is necessarily cheap. It's an investment.
Yes.
Um, but because I've had a trainer for so long and we've recorded sessions, I have workouts in my phone. And I
Got
can do them because I have full tutorials of workouts in my phone. But also, I worked with him for so long that if I was to say I needed a workout, he would write me a workout.
and a meal plan. Do you get the meal plan and the workout and
So I did this thing recently. It was called the 40-day turn up.
mhm.
Um, that was probably um, one of the more successful times that I participated in something more like meal prepping food. So that was real um, cut and dry. Um, we had 4 meals a day, 400 calories.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So with some serious discipline in the water. I didn't work. I was supposed to work out during that time, but I was in a moment that, and I wasn't working out yet. I started working out like right when it ended, but there were people in there that lost 40, 50 pounds. They came off of their insulin shots. They were coming off of meds. So it made a lot of changes in people. Like food, when people say food is medicine, food it's serious.
Nice. So nice. So nice. Now we hear that you're a mom, so we know, and I've met the baby.
Yeah.
Wonderful young man, right?
That
What
baby is gonna be 18 in September.
he is always gonna be a baby to you. College in his future.
We don't know about college yet, he says, but he's a creative. I don't know. If he wants to. His school, he automatically transitioned senior year to a year at college. So if he successfully does that, then they automatically accept him into any one of the UW schools that he wants to attend. So
Yes.
he has that as an option if he wants to do college without breaking the bank.
Okay. You know what I like? I like what I just heard. Because some families, and I respect family dynamics, whatever the rules and regulations are in the household, it is what it is. But I heard you give your baby an option. Like, listen, okay, if it's not full blown college, I get that. There are other things. There's trade school, there's training programs, something. We got to get busy doing something productive, right? I
Mm.
love that, Tomira, but I'm not surprised coming from you.
Yeah, but I could send him to school and he can flunk out or hate it and be sad. No, I went to school. I use no degrees right now. None. Neither one of the degrees that I have lots and lots of debt for. Not one of them do I use today.
Actually,
Look,
that's
I went to school for a very long time. I met some really great people though.
yeah, yeah. Would you ever go back into psychology?
Hmm. So when I went to school for psychology, fun fact, I was doing hair. I wanted to be a licensed therapist, but I wanted people to come and get their hair done, but I'd be able to give them therapy while they were getting their hair done, or counseling or services. But I wanted to be able to bill Medicaid. Now this is like 17 years ago. But
Okay.
yeah, I just never ended up going on with it.
Oh my gosh, but you had the right concept because you go to a salon. What are people
And
doing?
they gonna spill their guts anyway. Now at least whatever insurance you have was just gonna pay for you to get your hair done this week. I was gonna tell you all my business for free. So I might as well I don't know. I was like, I can give me a private suite. People could come in for their appointment. It wouldn't even be like no stress of having a whole bunch of people. Cause just think, what is insurance? It's like $150 an hour.
Yep.
Your hair now with 100. That's good. $200-300 for a couple hours.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I
Yeah.
like to do hair. And you like to talk to your client or your people. So yeah, that wouldn't have been bad.
But this day I was killing two birds with one stone.
Hmm. Walk out looking good and feeling good.
I like the
Look,
concept.
somebody gonna take the idea. Just give me credit when y'all do, okay?
Oh my goodness. How about don't take the idea? Right, exactly. How about
Just
sit
give me a little credit. Go
down,
online and order something. Just anything.
book a catering session. Say,
I'm
hey, I
saying,
heard
hire
you.
me for your launch party. Don't be like that.
I love how you approach that though, because yes, great ideas. You have to think of it that way, Tamira. That you've been innovative, you thought of something, you launched it, and then here comes someone else. And it's like, whoa, wait a second here. So what you just said just
Well,
blessed.
they say great business people don't invent ideas; they take
You know what? That what level is that? Because
them. It was
that
one of
that's
our
a level
shows.
that, yeah, no.
That's when you got that big money and you real cutthroat. You don't care. You just
Mm,
she won't really notice her little measly business. I'll just
just take it.
make
Yeah.
a chain of them. She'll be all right.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Tamira? I thank you so much for your time this evening. I know how extremely busy you are as a business owner, entrepreneur. So thank you so much for coming on here. We have several viewers, and they're a little quiet today too,
You're welcome.
live on YouTube, just listening and watching, but they're there.
Hi,
And
viewers.
so, yeah. So, would you please share with our our viewers where they can find you, how to book your services. And I'm going to go ahead and put that information up here. It's www.
Yes, thedeliciousbites.com. Yeah, we're
Delicious.
located at 6538 West North Avenue. And
Awesome.
that's in Wauwatosa.
All right. And you said 6538.
West North Avenue.
It's North Avenue.
Look at your little lady.
That's my little avatar. And this is Wauwatosa. All right. And a phone number.
414-909-3372.
Awesome. I am going to go ahead and share your information. There, we'll let that one sit for a little while. Phone number also. And
So
when
how long have you been doing the show?
So this is the second season. So the first time it was kind of hit or miss. I wasn't consistent with the fourth Wednesday in every month or the last Wednesday in every month. I was just kind of jump on whenever I felt like it. Did several sessions and then lost all of my data. I cannot figure out where it went. So I've streamed live on Facebook. It's gone. So you know what, Crystal, and I said, you know what, season 2, I needed more structure. So you're the third episode, and this is the second season.
Okay.
So it's been good.
So do I get to ask you questions too, or do you only ask me questions?
No, let's talk. Ask me.
So what kind of suggestions do you have for people if they're predicting that there's going to be a recession for business owners? What do you suggest? How do we prepare?
Brace yourself, because you know what, and I try so hard not to say terrible things about the Cheeto that's currently in office. However, I cannot withhold certain things from coming out of my mouth because he is destructive. And so if you're a Black business owner, Latino, a woman, yes, we should be nervous and afraid, and we should be worried about a recession. What you need to do is prepare, right? Have a contingency plan. COVID caught us off guard. It caught us off guard. But COVID also taught us valuable lessons. The world went virtual. Zoom, we knew about, right? We knew about online platforms. We knew about Teachable for hosting classes. But there are businesses that close their brick and mortar locations because it saved them so much time and money just to do virtual sessions versus having people come out of the house to sit face to face, which makes a lot of sense, right? If it cut costs and you're still getting the job done, do that. So COVID taught us that it's okay to stay in and be virtual, right? We got past that. We had a good 3-year run with that tragedy. So we found out that we're resilient and innovative, and that we know how to pivot, prepare, whatever your industry is, right? We threatened Canada, and they said, you know what, we'll turn the lights off. That worried me so much, because what do we do without power? Well, what happens? We need backup generators. We need to start thinking on that level. Flashlights, right? If the systems go down, and we should have a contingency plan written down anyway. Because what if there's a water damage? What if there's some type of peril or hazard that comes and interrupts your business outside of it being a recession? What if it's weather related? What if it's a break-in? What if it's a fire? We should always have a backup plan for these businesses. We have to. And it all depends on your industry. Have a vision, write it down, and put it inside of a binder, store it in something that's fireproof so that your staff knows where to find it at, because we have to be forward thinking. We can't afford to be reactive with this current administration. We have to be proactive. He's destructive, right? Launching wars and trade wars with China. China isn't on the up and up always, right? When it comes to stealing intellectual property, they mastered it. So now not only do we get trademarks in the US, now we have to have an international trademark because China has no chill. We knew that, right? But attacking them the way that he did was not wise at all. So now prices on everything can skyrocket. Well, if you're in retail, that could drive you right out of business because customers already may not be able to afford pricing. So anyway, right now, all of us need to review our pricing structure. How much are we charging people for the services and products that we offer? Is it enough? Okay. And then if you are purchasing at wholesale and the products you purchase have gone up, to retain clients or customers, you can't afford not to increase your profit. So you have to stay in tune to any trends, market trends, and make sure that if it calls for an increase in your rates, you have to do so. If it's time to temporarily close, to just kind of reset, reorganize, and move forward, do that. It's okay. I've got a restaurant business right now. The doors had to close for 2 days because, listen, we need to regroup. And I highly encouraged it. It's okay. Rewrite policies because everyone is afraid right now. We have no idea what to expect. That's a great question. Thank you for asking me that. Yes, we should be worried about a recession. Absolutely. Absolutely. Backup payment processing systems. So if you use Square, have something else just in case.
Got a few. It's just if we go offline, then it's just that good old cash.
You know what? We come from the olden days, right? Remember we called them knuckle busters when I was in banking. Remember to swipe the credit card?
The imprint machine.
You need that. You need it. Get it. They still sell them right along with the paper. Imprint that credit card. Let nothing get in the way of your money. Nothing. A recession, nothing. Imprint that card and get a signature that, hey, we're offline right now, but I'm charging this card as soon as we're back up. Manually key it in, do whatever it is that you have to do when the systems go back up. But yeah, the old knuckle buster, get that.
That's funny. I haven't seen that since I was in college.
Yes. Yes.
At the gas station, we used to have to do it for American Express because we didn't take everybody didn't accept American Express yet.
That was a long time ago because I remember. Yes. But yes, to your question, to answer your question, we should be worried. And yeah, now is the time to revise.
Another thing to think about.
Yeah, policies and procedures, and training your staff, making sure that they're okay, that they understand, hey, things happen. Businesses have ups and downs. This is what we're prepared for. Talking to the leadership team. Who are your key people, your right-hand people, to make sure that they're on the same page as you? Because don't carry all that stress by yourself. That's why you hire leads and managers.
I want to hire a manager.
You should. You should.
It's coming.
That's your business and succession planning right there. Yes. Yep. Teaching them everything that you know, because what if you decide to retire or go on vacation? We can't close the door. Business still has to continue. So we have to have that key person put in place. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Ask me anything you want to. This is your time.
I don't know if I have other questions. How long have you been a tax professional?
Tomira. Okay. So in my college days, I'm going to go back to, I was a personal banker, I was at the U.S. Bank on Good Hope. 2004. It was 2004. I took a class college, taking accounting related classes, and always been a hustler. I always had some type of side gig, a hobby, making wreaths, whatever, candles, whatever I could make to have a couple of coins coming in outside of my standard W-2 and paycheck, because I had those two little kids to provide for. And so I thought, you know what, this is something that I could do. And then learning from being a personal banker, the need, because I've been a licensed insurance professional since 98, right? My daughter was a month old when I passed that exam. And so I decided, you know something, that insurance coupled with taxes, and then I can help with annuities and tax strategies. Didn't even fully understand at the time and what a tax strategy was. I went to H&R Block with another banker, one of my good friends, and we learned how to prepare taxes. I didn't want to work for them though, but I did take their course. I took the college course, right? But then I got the hands-on experience and the real world experience from H&R Block. And I thought, let me figure out how to get my own software. And I started off with I had a few faithful customers who would come every year. I wouldn't take people. I wouldn't advertise. I just let them trickle in by referrals. The next thing you know, a few, 3 or 4 turned into 10, and then 15, and then 20. And I'm like, okay, all right. Yeah. So tax season would come around. I would make really good money. And then I wanted to add to that. So 3 years ago, I decided, listen, I'm going to go ahead and get that EA designation. So then I started studying before COVID. I started studying that IRS rigorous curriculum for an enrolled agent. It's a license that the IRS grants. You have to know law. You have to know the tax code. You have to understand bookkeeping. You have to know personal. You have to know business and estate, like all of it. It's very similar to the CPA exam, except the CPA exam has 4 rigorous exams, and tax is one of their exams. I had to break down tax in 3 exams. So I went in there for that first exam. I was confident, Tomira. Oh, I know tax. I've been doing this for so long. I passed the law and codes, flying colors. I passed individual, no problem. I thought I knew business taxes. I was introduced to code and terminology I had never heard before from a tax resolution and tax planning standpoint. So remember, I was a preparer. I could prepare your taxes, explain what's on your 1040, what's on your business forms, 1120, the 10. I could tell you, oh, that line means this. But when it came down to remembering those formulas, figuring out the basis, right? The basis of, so how much did someone invest in business, right? How much, if it's real estate, what does basis have to do with that property that was purchased? What's the value of it now versus when they purchased it? Those are all formulas that I had to remember, and it was tough. So I walked in head up, and I came out of there defeated, like, oh my God, what was all of that? So I half-ass studied too, because I thought I knew something. Still thought I knew. Yeah, because the other 2 exams, I was like, yeah, I'll go in here and it's easy peasy. I have this. No, ma'am. No, business wore me out. I had to go back a 3rd time. So the 2nd time I missed it by like 2 points. I sat in my car and bawled, cried, called my husband on the phone. Oh my God, I'm getting too old. My memory. And then what that meant was that I had to whip out flashcards to my list, and I still have my deck of flashcards is this thick. And I would sit and just drill myself over and over and write the formulas out and actually do the work. And that last time I had it. I had it. So yeah.
Congratulations. Glad you got it done.
Thank you.
So where do people buy the candles? Where are the candles available?
Candles are online, right? On wealthwicksandwine.com. So, I ended up merging my business with my son. So Quiescent Moments is now my son's brand. And at the end of the day, I want him to take over all candle, everything candle, but he's just not ready yet. He's not. So I still have my hands in it. But yeah, they can be purchased right online. I was using Shopify for a minute, but I don't have time to manage Shopify. Shopify was managing me. I don't have that kind of time. So Crystal helped me set up a different site, and it's working. It's easier to use, and I can link Square to it and give, folks can go on order. I ship it pretty easy. So it's wealthwicksandwine.com. And
So
then go ahead.
Look, so you said I do all the things. When do you find time to make candles?
Oh, Lordy, Sundays.
Oh,
And it helps me relax. That's my day. If I'm not on a date night with Anthony, which is often the case, I pick a weekend and just sit and make candles. If he's out in the field working,
okay,
I find something to do. Yeah. Yes. So yeah, and then the blueprint is out. I was going to mention that before I disconnect here, but blueprint is done. And this here, we go to college, we take business administration courses, right? So my undergrad is business administration and human resources with a focus on communication. I went to Ottawa University and I had Wade as an advisor, and so he pushed me, right? And none of what I learned in college, taking those business admin courses, were helpful when it comes to real world business ownership experiences. None of it. I understand, okay, what I need to do, right? Administration is all about the setup. I understood, okay, what's an LLC? What's a corporation, right? Even the accounting piece, it didn't tell me how to use QuickBooks. Zero. FreshBooks, it didn't tell me about accounting software. It didn't tell me the software would fail me and I would have to do things by hand. It didn't tell me any of that. Oh, yeah. So I wrote this for everything that college doesn't cover. Yes, ma'am. So that's available online too. It can be purchased Barnes and Noble. It can just Google it. It's out there. Blueprint Business and Succession Planning. And this is how thick this is. When I started writing Tomira, I couldn't stop. And being a business consultant, I had stories and narratives to share for days. Like, real life experiences. Oh, look, somebody said something. Chrissy B says, when is the next episode? Good question, Chrissy. So listen, May 21st. It is a day before my birthday. And that'll be my birthday episode where it's called 40 Wine. I'll be 49 years old, Tomira. So I'm on my road to 50. And in this year, from my birthday until I turn 50 next year, I am making a lot of changes. And there's a lot that I want to share about life, career, business, right? I'm going to try to be good, because I'm also going to invite one of my really close friends on there who is a mess and a comedian and a riot by herself. So I'm going to invite her to come and chat with me for my birthday podcast special. And it's titled 49 and all the things. I'm talking about all the things: menopause, personal summers, me having to whip out my fan. Oh, it gets real at this point. So it's May 21st, Chrissy B. Same time, Wind Down Wednesday at 7 p.m. Yes, thank you for asking. So listen, we are right at 8 p.m. on the dot. And Tomira, I thank you so very much for coming on here and chatting with me, right? And today's topic was get your cake up. Tomira shared all kinds of ways to get your cake up. And once again, she's located at 6538 West North Avenue. Before we disconnect, Tomira, what words of wisdom do you have for the women that's watching this podcast today?
Take your time.
Take your time. You heard it from Miss Tomira White, CEO and president of Delicious Bites. Go check her out. She should have that phone should be ringing off the hook with catering orders. Y'all know y'all be setting up parties and all kinds of stuff. Stop that mess. Call her, right? Free yourself from trying to do the cooking. When I tell you she has it, and the food is delicious. So thank you again, Tomira, for Get Your Cake Up lessons today. I
Thank you
appreciate
so much
your
for
time.
having me.
Yes, ma'am. Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.